Yo guys, I'm back with another Inside the Mind, and in today's episode we're going to be looking at the second half of Foot Champs and how to navigate it. But before we start the video, make sure you sub to the YouTube and like this video. If you haven't already, make sure you check out my previous YouTube video because essentially I talk about the first 7 to 8 games in Foot Champs. Anyway, let's get into the last couple games. This is the nitty gritty. This is where you get really tested by EA and their matchmaking. You're going to face absolute demons that are going to cause you problems the entire game. Okay, so continuing where we left off, this is game 8. This is where you start facing these crazy teams with these crazy cards. Look at this team. Obviously, this is relatively average now, but pay attention to that attack. That's absolutely unbelievable. Every single one of them has finesse and low driven. The two things that you need up top. It's outrageous. But anyway, let's get into analyzing what you should be doing mentally to prepare for this game. Okay, with these sort of games, you need to be doing your best to start off on the right foot. You don't want to go down early because it's an uphill battle from there. It's a very difficult situation to get out of. Mainly because the players that you're going to start facing, they're tough. They know what they're doing. They've probably won 7 or 8 games in a row as well. They're confident, they're warm. They've had their mechanics used and warmed up the entire time. This is where you need to be locked in. As you can see though, in this, I literally start and I concede within 10 minutes of the game. It was horrible defending from me. I should have known that he was going to pass one more time. I wasn't paying attention for some God knows why. But that doesn't matter. It's about how you react. Straight off a kickoff, I went for the attack immediately, took my time in the middle, one pass in, and it's an easy finesse. However, now we need to talk about how I got to that stage mentally. From the beginning of the game, I knew it was going to be tough no matter what. The guy's team was outrageous, almost as good as mine. But that doesn't mean anything. If the player is good, they're going to beat you no matter what. They're going to beat you regardless. Anyway, in this situation, it was a mental battle. The second he scored, although I know and I've recognized that I have a lot of time, my mental battle is, do I think I can even win in this situation? And you need to get this out of your head immediately. You don't want to be in a situation where you're thinking negatively because you've just started to get into the tough games. You don't want to be putting yourself down mentally. Oh, I can't be bothered. I can't this, because that just makes it so difficult to like play with after. So you have to pay attention to a couple things just like that. Okay, we're going to briefly talk about the importance of just locking in the entire time. So in this game, it's 1-1 in 58 minutes, right? And I knew that after a pause, a lot of people aren't concentrating. They're not fully locked in again. You know, it takes a second or so to readjust. And look at what happens. The guy gets caught lacking. The second I realized that this guy isn't going to be fully prepared and fully ready, I pounce on it. And look, pay attention to what happens here and just how quickly I get the ball in the back of the net. I switch immediately. He's still not switched to his left back. One pass in, no one's near me. Trivela Green 10 minutes ago. You can't hear it, but literally, I'm saying he lost his concentration. That goal only happened because of a lapse of concentration on his end. And just like that, the game twisted on its head. And look at this, pay attention, right? Immediately after that, he pulls out his centre back. One touch in, first time, done. That's game over. You're not recovering from that position. But look at what I did. Mentally, I knew after that pause, he's not going to be fully focused. Quickly took a throw in, managed to get a quick goal, and then from there, he's annoyed. He wasn't locked in. He conceded that goal and it feels just a little bit unfair. But of course, you know, he goes down the other end, he makes it 3-2, so it doesn't really matter anyway. But at the end of the day, the ultimate goal is you can catch people off guard in so many situations where you don't even realize that you can. There's so many situations and times where you can catch people off guard like that, off a throw in, off a corner. It's easy goals. And I'm telling you, it's all a mental battle. But look, this is exactly how the game is, unfortunately. I do very well to defend this. And immediately I know I need to be prepared off the corner. So I do. I rush him from here. And look, for some reason, corners are the most difficult thing on the planet to defend against. Look at how easy it is for him to score. How annoying is that? He didn't deserve that goal, but he scores it. But it doesn't matter. I don't let myself be bothered by that. One pass in, and it's a simple goal. But again, this is all about mentality. Games like this is where you need to be locked in more than the other person. It's as simple as that. Your skill and your ability matters, of course. If the guy's just significantly better than you, you might just end up losing. However, like I said, you lose more games in your head before you even start, before you lose games on the pitch. That's just how it is. People stop concentrating, they don't want to pay attention, they don't want to play the game. It's so extremely frustrating when I see people struggling in games where realistically, had you been concentrating the entire time, you'd be fine. But anyway, I end up winning this game just because I keep the ball. Obviously, do what you have to do. Like I said, these are the tough games. This is where you need to be fully concentrated. Of course, you've got a full court press going on, but it doesn't matter. I'm composed, I'm calm, I know what's going on. I have ball control the entire time. There's no worries, there's no problem, and we see out the game. Okay, now, game 9. Listen, you're going to see my reaction to seeing this gamer tag. DVS Rivaldo. I don't know if you've seen the guy, but in the PlayStation scene, he's big. He's won a lot of like big things and he's very good at the game. And I've played him before. And like I said in the other video, he absolutely destroyed me. But I'm going to show you how to mentally navigate this. If you look at my reaction, I'm fuming. Bearing in mind, I usually dodge. This week, I just decided I actually don't care. I don't care who I play, I'm just going to play the game. If I lose, I lose. If I win, I win. Great. We move. You can see the rank 1 badge there as well. And look at that attack as well. Cruyff, Ronaldo, and Leao. What am I meant to do against that? And mentally, in my head, low key, I wasn't feeling it. I didn't really want to continue playing fully seriously. Unfortunately for me, he starts off and he scores. I was fuming. I was very angry, a little bit annoyed at myself because realistically, I know going down against a player of this caliber is going to be very, very difficult. But look, that doesn't stop me from playing my own game. You have to bear in mind, no matter what happens, you're winning, you're losing, you're this, you're that, you have to keep playing your own game. And the good thing about games like this is, although they're tough, you need to be persistent. Look, after that first highlight, the next highlight is in the 45th minute. Take a green time shot. I get a bit of lucky bounce, but we move. We take the bounces we can get. And look, again, like I said, these games are very, very tight. The first highlight was in the 10th. The next was at half time. And then the second one after that is in the 70th minute. Do you know how long that is of back and forth, left and right? You're having to defend and then you have to attack and then you have to defend and you have to attack without a single goal happening. This is what happens in these high level games. You need to be on your toes. You need to be ready for anything. Anyway, I've mentioned this example before. When you're out wide, play a lock centrally. It is so easy to grab this player, pass into them, and then do what you want. It's so easy. And look, from here, like I said, people don't pay attention. Quick corner, simple goal. I didn't deserve that 2-1. I remember at the time as well, it was a very difficult game. I didn't deserve it. And look, I go for the same thing, go all the way down the line, play a lock in, pinged pass, and it's a simple goal. I'm swearing in the video, so we don't talk about it. But listen, games like that, that is when you need to clutch up. That's when you need to lock in. You need to focus fully and bring all the mechanics you've been warming up and practicing the entire champs. That is when the accumulation of everything you've experienced in the last couple of games has to come together in perfection, in unison. Okay, game 10. This is where roughly it starts getting a bit intense. Bearing in mind, if you're lucky, you can get a free win here and there. And luckily for us, we do manage to get one in this whole champs. But look, here it's still the same thing. Do the basics, player lock your players, be ready for anything. And very quickly, the guy leaves. Within about 20 minutes, the guy's gone. But again, you have to keep on top of this sort of stuff. Goals like that, they're so easy to score, but I see people miss opportunities like that all the time. The guy dragged out his centre back. Look, his other centre back is all the way there. He's got a 3 at the back situation where literally, even if I don't shoot straight away with Kaka, I can pass one more time to Leao and it's a simple goal. But again, goals like this, you need to be on top of this sort of stuff. In this situation, I literally could have passed and then shot, but I just shot first time because I knew the opening was big enough for me to be able to do that. But again, you have to keep on your toes the entire time, stay locked in, stay focused. Whatever you need to do, play your music, listen to a podcast, whatever nonsense you need to do, it's so simple. Okay, now we're getting even more intense. Bearing in mind, I already said you need to be paying attention to your players' teams. If you look here, if you look specifically at that Hullet, he's got long ball as the other playstyle plus on Hullet. And I'm telling you, obviously, even this Valverde, I didn't really know what the card was. If I hadn't looked, I wouldn't have known he has 2 playstyle pluses that make no sense for him anyway. Ariel and Chip at left wing makes no sense for me. Anyway, the point is, you need to know your players and your Trivela options. By that I mean, I know Leao can Trivela and finesse, Valverde can finesse, KDB can finesse and Trivela, Hullet can Trivela, and Theo Hernandez can Trivela. Stuff like this matters, so you can adjust accordingly to the way the guy is playing. if Theo has the ball a little bit deep, you know that a potential um, Trivela can come from deep. So you need to be on your toes. You need to be rushing out to him. Make sure you're not letting them take their shots. Anyway, let's get into analyzing a little bit of how you need to be playing this game as well. Okay, one thing I will mention, when people are using the 4-2-1-3, any formation you have, you're going to have a lot of fun in wide spaces, and being able to cut it in is so easy and so simple. Let me show you in this exact example what I do. I force the ball out wide for a very specific reason, because I know, look at the situation right now. His left back is here, and his left DM is all the way here. Look at the amount of space I have. And because of this, I know there's going to be a gap in between the left back and the left centre back simply because he has to drag one player out so wide. And this is exactly what I do. I wait for a ball roll into a cross, one more pass, take my time, and it's a simple goal. But again, I exploited the wings because, like I said, in a 4-2-1-3, had this guy played a 4-2-3-1 with a left mid, right mid, I don't have a lot of wide space. But again, because he didn't, I have all this space in the middle out wide to do whatever I want. And look, two of the goals that I scored were very simple. The second time, I baited the run out wide because I knew he was going to try cover it. And then I had Hullet go on a manual run inside, one pass in, another pinged into my left striker, and it's a simple goal. But again, you need to be looking at patterns like this. Again, if you pay attention in this clip, my left mid and right mid are wide open because his left winger and right winger are all the way up here. They're not defending, they're not helping out, which is exactly why I can't play a formation without left mid, right mid anymore. I can't do it. Anyway, if you see, my left mid has his hand up, which means I'm already looking to do a first time over the top to him. And that's exactly how I scored this goal. Again, like I said, his right winger, left winger are not paying attention. So all I have to do is one pass into my striker, first time over the top, pay attention to the keeper, and it's so simple. Bearing in mind, another thing that I noticed is he switched from his right centre back to his left centre back. So I knew mentally, this guy's not even going to try to defend it, he's just going to bring out his keeper. And look, he's still on his right, on his centre back over here, all the way down here, because he's not paying attention. He's so adamant that he's just going to hope that the keeper saves it. He mentally checked out of the game already. I knew. So from here, I was just having a bit of fun. I was messing around, taking my time. And look, it's all about composure. Stay calm in front of goal. And like I said, in games like this is where it matters most. You need to be accumulating all your skills and all your abilities in games like this just to be clinical. Bearing in mind, if I showed you the stats of that game, I had 4 shots, 4 goals, and I'm not even joking. You have to be ruthless, bro. I'm telling you. Okay, game 12. In this game, it's getting a bit more tense, a bit harder to play. Bearing in mind, again, I'm still checking people's teams. In this, I noticed his left winger and right winger, same situation. I could play out wide, I could do my best to go play reset ball. And I've noticed both of them have Trivelas. But that's not actually how I even score in the first few minutes of this game. I managed to get a corner very quickly, just like Trent, corner taken quickly, and it's a simple goal. I don't know how many I've scored already, but I'm pretty sure I've scored about 5 or 6 goals just from this. Anyway, obviously that goal is a bit of nonsense. However, like I said, you need to be playing reset ball. If you don't know what that is, you see this line here, get your player past this line, and because it's the 4-2-1-3, the 2 DMs will come in here, and that means your centre mid, left mid, all these players here have so much space, and that's exactly what I do. Again, I get lucky here, but you take your own luck. I don't really care. Pinged pass into my striker, stay composed, simple goal. But again, reset ball against the 4-2-1-3. It is so simple. Game 13, I was lucky enough to get a free win. Honestly, I didn't think the guy was going to give me one, but I'll take it. Listen, a free win's a free win, so we don't have to talk about this one. I was shocked. Look at me. I was shocked. Okay, game 14, same thing. Same old boring formation. Again, I realized his 2 attackers on left wing, right wing, both have finesse, however they can't Trivela. But Bobby Charlton and Beckham can. So, again, mentally I'm preparing. Another thing I noticed is a lot of his players are very small. Bar Mamadashvili and Hero, there's not really a threat against me. He's got what? Beckham, Butra, Charlton, Kaká, and Griezmann. All of them realistically very small, not going to be able to do much. All I have to do is watch their speed boosts. However, in this game, I get very lucky off the rip. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to pass back. Very silly thing to do. The guy gets a very early goal, and mentally, like I said, a lot of people would be defeated in this situation, but not me. I go straight for the attack because I'm so confident. One player lock in, one more pass for safety, easy shot across goal because for some reason his De Gea steps way too much. Again, same thing. Straight after that, go for another attack. Take your time, cut back, one more, easy goal. Just like that. In 15 minutes, I went from 1-0 down in the 9th minute to 2-1 up in the 15th. It's all about your mentality. I could have just laid over, oh, it's my 14th game, I'm going to lose. You don't have to think about stuff like that. That's the benefit of playing this game because, first of all, it's horrible as it is. Look at the nonsense. I scored a kickoff goal and some rubbish like this. But again, mentally, you need to be prepared for stuff like this. Going down in the first couple minutes wasn't what I planned. I didn't plan to lose. I didn't plan to concede that early. But again, mentally, I was prepared and I went straight at his jugular just like that. However, I did get a little bit cocky. If you don't know, off of throw-ins, your team is a complete and utter mess. I don't actually know why, but AI is very, very bad off corners. Usually what I do, and it usually works, is I offside trap. And luckily for me, most of the time it works. Unfortunately, in this game, if you can look, there's a clear pass from Bobby Charlton straight to Ronaldo. I thought, let me offside trap because I didn't think Vieira would make it in time. I do the offside trap, and look, I'm hoping at this point, if you can see at the bottom right, I've clicked offside trap. The ball's already gone. Obviously, it looks like he's offside, but he's not. One touch in, low driven, and he scores. It was my mistake. Honestly, there's not much I could have done realistically, but it is what it is. I shouldn't have done it. Anyway, same thing. You keep going, you keep pushing in games like this. Take your time. I saw him opening up the Trivela. Let me show you why I took this Trivela and how I telegraphed it beforehand. In this instance, I needed to make Vieira move out of the way, and that's what I did. The reason I did that is if he player switches, he's most likely going to player switch to the centre back and not the DM because of how player switching works. And that's exactly what happens. He sees that gap. And look at what I do. Because I've seen that gap, I R1 dribble with my Elise and I know immediately I can do a Trivela because he's backing off. He backs off, he backs off. Simple. Again, telegraphed it. I planned all of that ahead. And mentally, like I said, you need to be doing stuff like that. Plan stuff. Talk through your head. Do what you need to do. Speak about it out loud if you have to, but you need to be planning stuff in this game. Okay, I actually in this game managed to hit another first time through ball where I won the ball with my Van de Ven in this situation here. I pinged it to my toenail, and from there, again, it's simple. As the ball is going to your Elise, L1 on your Kaka. So use your left stick, look at Kaka, and do a L1 triangle over the top. I get lucky enough to hit it, and then from here it's just about composure. Pick your shot. It's either finesse or low driven or a chip. You have so many options. That's the benefit of this situation. Simple chip over the top of him and a simple goal. Just like that. Very, very simple. This game ended up actually being a complete and utter blowout. You know, it's one of those, right, where the guy is very good, but you're just playing better in the moment. And look, I take my time. I don't rush anything. One pass in, blast it. Very unfortunate for him. His keeper should have saved it. But who cares? Again, like I said, you have to be ruthless. I started taking the mick a little bit, but I don't care. Goal's a goal, game's the game, we move on. I ended up beating him 7-3 in the 14th game, which is not common. You wouldn't think of stuff like that because, again, his elo should be realistically very, very high. But we move on. Like I said, you need to be ruthless. Anyway, let's get into game 15. Now, for some reason, game 15, low key, I was nervous. For some reason, I skipped. I didn't actually pay attention to the guy's team. Again, like I said, I don't know what I was thinking in my head, but it doesn't matter. We move on anyway. This game, I knew immediately it was going to be very, very tough. But we got a very good start. We got a little bit lucky. Immediately, I get 2 or 3 bounces that were utter nonsense, but it doesn't matter. Like I said, in games like this, you need to be clinical. However, for some reason, I started doing this silliness. I clicked circle with my Van de Ven, and look at how far out he is. And then my second mistake, even after this, is recoverable. I can recover from this situation. It's not that bad. It's not that deep. Look at who I switched to. For some reason, I switched here to my Stam, and then I switched to my Theo, thinking I could cut off the passing lane if he tries through ball it, because I want him to go out wide. That was the plan. Then For some reason, because Stam is the right centre back, for some odd reason, he decides, let me go back to right back instead of covering the guy that's right there. And then I can't do anything because he's so silly. He takes his time in front of goal. I move the keeper ever so slightly and he just scores. It is what it is at the end of the day, but it's just frustrating. Again, this goal here, a little bit of patience. I got not lucky, but bearing in mind, I made this Leao go on a run, and Kaká is a striker. He's going to be in and around this centre back. So he occupied that centre back. This centre back is occupied by Kaká. I have more than enough space. He doesn't know what to do, and it's a simple Trivela. But again, if I hadn't made that Leao go on a run, the other centre back has to go back, and then this centre back has to go back as well. And then from there, that is how I scored that goal. Again, telegraphing, reading your opponent, taking your time. Options like that will open up and you need to react in within a second, a split second. Okay, the next goal that I ended up conceding, of course, you already know what it has to be. A corner where you just can't do anything. In this situation, you see, look, I literally shake my head because I said, what am I doing? I knew I bottled it. I was very upset with myself in the moment. I said, what am I doing? Very, very silly of me. Unfortunately, the guy gets a pass off, and again, from here it's reset ball. Nothing I can do. He ball rolls, and I move the keeper preemptively and somehow he still manages to score it. I'm fuming. I'm literally fuming, but again, there's not much you can do in situations like that. You just have to deal with it. Now, when I tell you, in this instance, I knew that he's going to be dragging out one of his centre backs. So all I did was I moved away from him ever so slightly. And look, from here, he was just holding R1. I was chilling. And realistically speaking, this could have been a very quick, easy goal. But I get a bit unlucky with the shot. For some reason, it just doesn't go off the way I want it to. But like I said, it doesn't matter. You need to be reacting to corners very, very quickly. Look how quick I take this. I should have scored there. I should have scored there. He should have cleared the ball over here. He doesn't. I get one pass back, one pass in. I should have scored there. I finally get the goal. But that's about 4 or 5 times that I should have scored anyway. And again, I take my time. I stay composed. It's the end of the game. Realistically, he's not going to get the ball off me. I'm way too good at holding the ball late in the game when I need it. And again, games like this is where you need to be clutch. You need to be defending. You need to be practicing situations like this. The more time you spend in situations where you're uncomfortable, the more you will improve. You need more of this in your game. You need to be improving by playing tough opponents. Don't be afraid to play tough opponents. That's my main issue. People are so afraid to play players that are better than them that when it comes time to actually play someone that's good in a foot champ situation, they just bottle it. It's so annoying. Anyway, that is the end of this episode. If you did enjoy, please do drop a like and make sure you drop a comment letting me know how you felt about this video, and hopefully it helps you get your first rank 1. Either way, I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you jump on my Twitch. I do stream there every single day. Anyway guys, take care.